No one wants to fight Joe Joyce.
He has all of the tools. He can be a nightmare for anyone.
On top level, ready for the world stage.
Joe Joyce is very, very much in the mix.
Joe Joyce is a man who'll give any heavyweight in the world a problem.
I think the sky's the limit for him, and he's ready for the big boys now.
European, Commonwealth, British champion. This is his chance to take that world title shot.
The fight's all over it. A spectacular win.
I don't think we should overlook just how smart Joe Joyce boxed tonight.
Joe Joyce by knockout.
The juggernaut's here and he's here to stay.
I play this game. They got like a thing called the juggernaut, and you have to kill it with 1,000,000 bullets before he dies. And that's essentially what Joe Joyce is.
I'm the juggernaut. I'm the only one who calls your name out. Everybody else is scared of you.
Well, bring it on.
Let's me and you, my brother, do Wembley. Let's go. Come on, Joe Joyce.
It's nice for him to step up now on the big stage with all eyes on him and him perform.
I'm in the right place. It's exciting. It's fun.
He deserves, among everybody, a world title shot.
Welcome to Spitalfields in London, where we are here at the weigh-in ahead of Joe Joyce versus Zhilei Zhang. Two silver medalists looking for gold. It's the WBO interim heavyweight title of the world. And as you can see, I am joined once again at one of these by former two-weight world champion, our now three-time dad, Carl Frampton. How you doing? I haven't seen you since.
I'm doing all right, yeah. It's much easier. The baby started to sleep there the last couple of weeks, so life's good and things are easy at the minute.
Unfortunately, the flight's not so reliable.
Yeah, delayed last night by 2 hours. I didn't get into bed till about 2 o'clock, something like that. So, bit of a disaster journey getting here. But I'm here and I'm glad I am.
Yeah, and you can start to feel the buzz around the place. I always like it when these weigh-ins are in public and you start to get people walking past and realising what a big deal boxing can be. And Joe Joyce, we were just talking before we went on air, is starting to feel like a real big-time player, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that we know who the top two guys in the division are, Fury and Usyk. We were all disappointed when that fight fell apart and didn't materialise. But if you look at who has the best chance of beating them guys, it's probably Joe Joyce. I think he can beat both guys. That's how good he is. Will he beat them? That's a different story. But I think out of all the other heavyweights, Joe has the best chance of beating the top two. And I genuinely believe he could.
How impressed were you by that Joseph Parker win?
Yeah, really impressed. Parker's a very good fighter, a former world champion, and I think under Andy Lee he looked really good. Joyce just put it on him as we expect him to do. He ate a lot of shots, shots bouncing off his head, which is another thing we expect to see when Joe Joyce fights. And but the knockout at the end was a lovely left hook, and he finished the job. I think it was a fantastic win. I think people are now starting to realise how dangerous a fighter Joe Joyce is for anyone in the division.
And it's that sort of mainstream push through with him as well that's so important. It's so important in all of boxing, but particularly in the heavyweights. Once you start getting that mainstream realisation where people in the public that don't always watch boxing start realising, oh, this guy's good, this is someone that I want to come out and watch, this is someone I want to come support. He's such an exciting fighter when he does get in there, and he's such a sort of unique personality. Yeah. He's not loud or outspoken, he's kind of an awkward talker, but he's so likeable.
Yeah, I've a lot of time for Joe. I think he's a lovely guy. You wouldn't know to speak to him if you didn't know he was a boxer. He looks like a boxer because of the size of him, but when he starts to speak, you maybe wouldn't think that he was one. He's just a nice, pleasant man, and but he can really fight, and he's got a unique style in the fact that, like I said already, that he can take unbelievable amounts of punishment, but he's got the biggest engine of any heavyweight going at the minute, and I think that could cause problems for everyone else in the division.
Yeah, Adam Morley, his manager, came up to me yesterday saying they'd been looking at Joe Joyce's Copperbox stats, and power punches received was some like freakish statistic. And I'm not sure if that's something he should necessarily be gloating about, but it does say quite a lot about Joe Joyce and how much endurance he has.
Yeah, look, it's unbelievable, really. This is a stat. I keep firing this stat out, and every time we talk about Joe Joyce fighting, but apparently that he's had these bone density tests done. You know the stat.
I know the one. This is Carl's favourite stat.
I love
by
it,
the way.
and it should be talked about all the time. Joe Joyce has 3 times. I'm hearing some people say 3 times, some people saying 5 times the bone density of the average man. You could drop Joe out of a 2-story building, and he could walk away unscathed. Like, if your opponent knows that, like this guy's got this like stupid bone density, it almost sounds like can he be knocked out? I don't know. I've never seen him hurt. I've never seen him hurt to the head. I have seen him hurt to the body. Things just seem to bounce off his head. It's got to be so frustrating to fight as well when, as a fighter, you know when you've landed a good shot, and I imagine guys feel like that's the one, I've got him, and Joe just hits you with a jab straight after it. Unbelievable, really is.
That's from our resident bone density expert, Carl Framson there. No, it's funny, he was saying yesterday, he kind of put his own spin on that famous quote, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. He says everybody's got a plan until they punch me in the face and nothing happens.
I like that, I know. And it's got to be so infuriating and frustrating when that happens. And I've seen Hammer doing it. I've seen Parker land some unbelievable shots, but I've seen Christian Hammer land. I mean, these shots were thrown from the back of the hall and they were hitting Joe right on the button. And he eats them and just lands his own. It's really incredible to see, and you're looking where your heart's in your mouth every time he fights, because you see these shots, and when you're sitting close to ringside, the spray's going off his head and there's blood going everywhere, but literally zero to no effect.
So tomorrow night at the Copperbox on BT Sport, starting at 7 p.m, Zhilei Zhang, who last time out had that loss against Filip Hrgović, which I think a lot of people didn't necessarily agree with. Zhang started incredibly strong, got a knockdown, but in the end, the decision didn't go his way. How big a test is this for Joe Joyce?
It is a big test. I think it's a credit to Joe for taking it, because he could have sat in the wings and waited and had a much easier fight and waiting on the big guys, because I believe he's ready for the top two guys in the division. But this is a real test. Zhang is a southpaw as well. I think Joe's only fought one southpaw previously, which will cause a few problems. Zhang is durable. He's also very fit. But I don't think he's as durable or as fit as Joe. There's no shame in that, because I don't know if anybody is. It's a fight you have to give Joe credit for taking. Didn't have to take it. Zhang's a very, very good fighter. I thought he won the Hrgović fight. Thought it was close, but I thought he should have got the nod. And Hrgović is one of the mandatories for Usyk. We all know how good a fighter he is. Zhang is a quality operator, and it's going to be really interesting. But look, it's hard to look past Joe.
It's two fighters with big knockout records. Obviously, Joe has 14 knockouts in 15 fights. I think a 93% knockout ratio. Zhilei Zhang has 19 KOs and his 24 wins. Neither have ever been stopped, and I think that was a similar situation to what we had with Joe Parker, and something that I'm sure will motivate Joe Joyce. If you're the first one that can stop someone, that says a lot about you.
Yeah, it would be it'd be a big message sent out to the rest of the heavyweight division if you can put a dent in Zhang and stop him. And I think that's what Joe will hope to do. Obviously, winning the fight is the most important thing. I think he can do it. I think he can maybe wear Zhang down and get rid of him later on in the fight. It's not going to be an early fight. I think both guys are too tough for it to be an early fight. I fancy Joe to win the fight, and I'm hoping he can get the stoppage as the fight goes on.
We just had the tail of the tape up there, and it's so even physically. Both 6'6", only a 2-inch difference in the reach, and the age is similar as well. And I think obviously sometimes you forget with Joe that he's only had the 15 fights, that he's 37. He had such an incredible amateur career, as did Zhilei Zhang. So it's so evenly contested. I think perhaps Zhang hasn't been in the big time, let's say, of boxing for very long, and he got that exposure from the loss. Almost the fact that it was a questionable decision probably gave him more exposure and more credit in a way. But I feel like how he's been this week with the press, he's been so popular in all his interviews. If it goes well for him, or if Joe Joyce wins, I feel like we could see him a lot more on these shows.
Yeah, I think so. I think I've been listening to some of his interviews. There was the line, "Chat, you know what? Get Zhanged." Unbelievable. I don't know who told him to say that, but was it you?
No.
It was very good.
I've got far too much respect for Ofcom and all the various guidelines.
He seems like a likeable guy, and I think that, put in a good performance here, and I don't think he wins the fight, but a good performance might be enough to get him a fight with someone like Daniel Dubois in the UK, or one of the other top heavyweights coming through. It's exposure for him on a different part of the world. So he seems like a likeable guy, nice guy. Yeah.
Let's look at some of the undercard fights as well. We've got a good undercard for you tomorrow night as well. We've got Ethan James versus Georgi Belishov. Moses Atalma, who's obviously been incredible so far in his two fights. I don't think he's managed to get a minute's worth of action yet out of his fights against Kostyatian Dovbyashenko. Bit of a test, that one. I think I passed out with flying colours. Denzel Bentley fighting for the British Middleweight Championship against Kieran Smith. We've got Sam Noakes fighting against Karthik Satish Kumar for the Commonwealth lightweight title, and a big appearance really for Michaela Mayer against Christina Linardati. A comeback fight off of the loss, the Baumgartner loss, against a woman that has beaten Baumgartner.
Yeah.
Christina Linardati. I don't know if you saw the footage from the press conference yesterday. They faced off, and it looked like there was enormous height difference. I think Michaela Mayer is 5'9", and Linardati is maybe 5'5".
It looked like there was a foot in it.
Yeah, but Mayer had high heels on, and it's as close as it looks.
Spencer Oliver just told me he was 5'5", and I'm 5'4.5".
He's also got heels on though,
and I've got an inch on him. So people lie about their height. There looked to be a full foot in the height difference, but she is Linardati, who's the only person who has beaten. No, she's not the only person, but she's beaten Baumgartner, who had lost to Michaela, who had beaten Michaela Mayer. Really interesting fight, really is. But Mayer is a really good fighter. I think there was a wee bit of an outcry about her last performance against Baumgartner. I thought it was the right decision. It was a close fight, but I think it was the right decision. And she'll be looking to make a statement here and get a win, and hopefully probably stop her just to start people getting on the bandwagon again.
Well, joining us here we've got Darren Fletcher, obviously commentator on the night. Fletch, how are you looking forward to this one tomorrow night, the big one?
I'm not looking as smart as this man.
Oh, did you forget your tie?
I'm sorry, I'm dressed down Friday for me. I think it's going to be great. I think you've got two big men who are going in there with one intention. I think, particularly from Zhang's perspective, I think the longer the fight goes, the more advantageous it becomes for Joe Joyce. The big question I've got is if he gets past the midway point, can he go with the pace that Joyce is going to fight at, the tempo that he's going to set? Because I think that's one of the most remarkable things when you watch Big Joe, is the fact that the hands are as quick as they are, and he can fight at the pace he can, the size he is. And I think that's why I've always said that any heavyweight in the world has a problem against him, just for that simple reason. But I think the flip side is, Zhang's a southpaw, everybody lands a shot on Joe's chin, and what happens when a 19.5 stone man with a bit of power, at some stage, you think that he's got to be troubled by one of these shots, whether that's Wilder down the line or
You know the stat, you know the bone dance
stat. Has he told you about falling out of a 3-story window, landing on his chin and being okay?
We've had it 2 or 3 times so far in the last 15 minutes. Fletch, how refreshing is it for you as someone, obviously Carl's been in there, but you and I are both boxing fans and observers of the sport. How refreshing is it to see someone like Joe Joyce, when you see all that's gone on in the heavyweight negotiations and everything that's gone on with the Fury Usyk fight and everything we've seen before with Joshua Wilder, to have someone who really does seem to want to take every single fight?
I think it's brilliant, and the only fear I have for him is how does he get the world title shot that he deserves? Because you think that Daniel Dubois is probably going to fight Alexander Usyk, and then there's talk, it's only rumour at the moment, that there might be some kind of tournament later in the year. Where is Joe Joyce? I think it's admirable that he'll fight anybody. I think the fact he's taking this fight tomorrow night is a risk. He doesn't have to take it.
Yeah.
It's a risky fight for him, just based on the strengths of Zhang. There's a bit of Dillian White to it, where Dillian kept fighting everybody in the division, just assuming that by doing that you get a world title shot, but it's not working out that way. My worry for him is where does the big fight come?
That's a really good point that Fletch made there, because you don't fight Joe Joyce unless you have to fight him. And these top heavyweights, the two guys who own the titles and the other guys in the round, I don't know if they want to fight him. It's a horrible night's work for anybody, and you got to look at what's going on. So Dubois is one of Usyk's mandatories, and then they're talking about this tournament maybe happen, and Joe Joyce will be frozen out of that. The 4 guys that are talked about being involved in this tournament are probably happy that Joe Joyce isn't mentioned alongside their names. I think he's the only guy that can beat the top 2 guys in the division. I'm not saying he definitely does, but he's the only guy at the minute that has a chance of beating Fury and Usyk, and no one wants to fight him.
And you've got to feel for him as well when you think that he beat Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
And now Daniel is ahead of him in the queue to fight Alexander Usyk. You kind of look at that and you've got to feel for Joe, because he did that, took the fight, won the fight. It's a big fight since then, and here he is again, almost in this holding pattern in the heavyweight division. And I agree with Carl. I don't think people necessarily, until they have to, want to get in with Joe Joyce. There have been heavyweights down the years that fit that bill, and they're too good really to get the shot until they've absolutely got to get it. And all he can do in the meantime is keep winning fights like this one. And as I say, it's admirable that he's prepared to take it.
Yeah. When you go into fights, sometimes you think I have a chance of knocking this guy out, and you think, you know, it could be an early night's work, or it may go 6 rounds or whatever. When you fight Joe Joyce, you know it's going to be a long, hard fight. So Zhang's going into this fight thinking, oh, this is going to be a nightmare scenario for me. There's a chance he could win the fight, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, and whoever Joe Joyce fights, it's always going to be a hard night's work.
And he does seem to be getting better as well. The one time we've ever seen him hurt was that Bryant Jennings fight, the only one that's gone to points. He got hit in the body once. He's not really been hurt since. He seems to have learnt his lesson from it.
And everybody tells you that when he goes in and spars with the big guys, he gives them more trouble than anybody else. We know that he lost to Usyk in the World Series of Boxing, but a longer distance, the bigger man. There are so many physical advantages that Joe Joyce would have over Usyk, that in a 12-round fight with him leaning on you, messing you up and all that kind of thing, it's a different story for people like Usyk.
I think the Usyk fight in the World Series, it was over 5 rounds. Usyk won the fight, but I think Joe definitely won the last round, possibly the 4th round as well.
You get past round 6 and see what happens.
I know, well that's it. So as the fight goes on, we're talking about a 5-round fight, and he's getting stronger. And Usyk's starting to tire a bit. I know it's a different game now, it's a pro boxing, and Usyk's going to be much fitter than he was then. But Joe, I'm telling you, Joe, I think, can beat them all.
I know. You'd love to see it, because one thing you do know is there are certain heavyweight fights that you look at and think, well, it's not going to last long. But you know when he gets in with any of them, it's going to be a tough night for them.
Yeah.
I've got this kind of mythical wish in my mind that I want to see Joe Joyce take a shot from Deontay Wilder and put your bone density theory completely to the test.
Yeah.
Because if that one bounces off, then you can kind of close the book on it.
His doctorate in bone density is under threat.
It was the most mad thing that anybody's ever said.
I have a doctorate
in bone density.
You got
an honorary one for being great at boxing.
But it's still a doctorate.
In all the years I've been a commentator, it's the most bizarre thing anyone's ever said to me in the middle of any kind of broadcast. And bearing in mind I've done quite a bit with Robbie Savage. That's quite a good title to have.
Do you think Joyce has suffered maybe a little bit, and when he came through, he kind of came in the shadow of the 3 or 4 big names that were already the stars? If he came through a couple of years later, a couple of years earlier, and he got his own sort of spotlight, which he's only just getting now, do you think he'd be in the talk with these conversations a bit more?
Do you know what? I do, and I also think sometimes you need a bit of luck. Because if you think about the journey Anthony Joshua went on to win the world heavyweight title, and your world title fight is Charles Martin.
Yeah.
If Joe Joyce follows that path, he's a world champion himself, because Joe would be above that level
even
too.
Daniel Dubois on the screen, exact same as Daniel Dubois fought Charles Martin. He's a world champion at the time, so
and
you need the luck.
Joe walks into a scenario where you've got Wilder, Joshua, Usyk, Fury, Jared Anderson, David Adelaide's just walked in. There are lads on the perimeter now who want to try and get into that argument too. So he's at a time where the heavyweight division is as strong as it's ever been, and that's difficult for a lot of people. So sometimes you need that stroke of luck. I mean, you'll know, Carl, the journey you went on. In your weight division, there would have been a better time to be a challenger, and there are more difficult times to be a challenger because the standard is higher. So I think he's just unfortunate at the minute that there are so many good heavyweights.
Yeah.
If you win it now, you are legitimately a very, very good heavyweight fighter.
But good heavyweights that know Joe Joyce is another good heavyweight, and I keep making the point, I don't think a lot of them want to fight him.
It almost feels a little bit like you've got Joe Joyce has to get to the point where he's selling out stadiums if he wants the big fights, and I think he's such a risk for the big names to come in at the moment because they're like, oh, I'm probably going to have to do the bulk of the selling, and then I've got to fight Joe Joyce as well. It's not like there's any easy part to him. It's just risk, nothing but risk. Really.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But if we were to say, look, it's Joyce Usyk for the world heavyweight title or Joyce Fury, that's a sold-out stadium fight.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think people who follow boxing know that that's a genuine fight.
It all depends on the opponent. Even a Joyce Dubois, if it's built right, and because of what happened the last time, that fills a small enough stadium. You put 20,000 people at least for that fight, maybe possibly more. So it all depends on the dance partner as well.
Yeah. Fletch, how many times do you reckon you've read out this fight on Champions League broadcasts and Premier League broadcasts in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And you know what? It's sometimes you're kind of looking forward to an event.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're genuinely looking forward to the fight. And this one tomorrow, I'm genuinely looking forward to the fight. But when those two big fellas step in the ring tomorrow night, realistically, anything could happen. Because I think Zhang's got to try and get to Joe early-ish. I think the longer the fight goes, the more advantageous it becomes for Joe Joyce. If there is a weakness to Joe, it might be in the first part of the fight where he does get caught a little bit, then he settles into rhythm and he's fine. As I said right at the start, I don't think Zhang could go with Joyce at his pace late. So I think he's got to come out and throw the big shots and hope that the southpaw stance and all of that kind of thing can get one through. And we know he's got power, but I just can't see it being anything other than an exciting fight. I can't see it being dull, just based on what the...
Zhang is similar to Joyce in the fact that he's fit, he's durable, he's got faster hands probably than Joe, but I don't think he's as fit or as durable as Joe, and that may be his undoing.
If you think about the Hrgovic fight, it was the second half of the fight where Hrgovic was able to get on top. By the way, having watched that, I still think Zhang won the fight.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Realistically, he could be jumping in unbeaten tomorrow. Maybe should be. Maybe the fight doesn't get made if that's the situation.
Possibly.
It's so good when it's the heavyweights, isn't it?
Oh.
There's especially when you get to these sort of 2 or 3 days before you get to the press conference, the weigh, and you see them face off, even when they're two thoroughly nice blokes like these two are.
By the way, Rob,
the electricity in the air.
By the way, this is a great card in general. If you go down a card tomorrow, what we're going to show on BT Sport tomorrow night is a fantastic night of boxing. It's not a pay-per-view night. Everybody can watch it, and the fights on the undercard are good fights.
We've seen lesser pay-per-views recently.
Yeah,
this is a quality build from top to bottom.
Yeah, actually, let's briefly talk about Moses Atalma as well. He's got a fight tomorrow night. I say briefly talk. That's pretty much sums his career up so far. How much have you commentated on so far? About 45 seconds.
I think it's about 53 in total. 53 seconds. The mad thing was, until he had the first fight, he'd never fought an adult. He'd never fought anybody older than 17, and that seems mad because people think, he was a good amateur. He wasn't. He was a good junior amateur. He wasn't even a senior amateur. So
there's a big difference.
Massive difference. But the first knockout, I mean, he's hit the fella's glove and knocked him out. The fella's kind of punched himself in the face based on what Moses did, and he was dealing that night with his brother losing on the card, and that was big for him. I think he learned a lot about himself that night. I keep making the comparisons to where Mike Tyson was at this stage, because the idea is that he wins the title as a younger man than Mike Tyson, so he's got until May 2025 to do it. This fight, there is a realistic chance that he is going to be taken further. The guy he's fighting, I don't think, has been stopped. So there is a legitimate chance that he'll go longer. Ironically, Tyson's third fight, which is the third one for Atalma, that was the first time he got taken anywhere. I think he went 4 rounds.
Okay.
So this was the point where they stepped him up. So you started to follow the similarities. Tyson went first round stoppage, then into the fourth.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night live on BT Sport in a 12-round contest for the WBC International Silver and Commonwealth Lightweight Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue the weigh-in process. Our next two combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 12-round contest. It will be for the British Middleweight Championship. First to the scale, the challenger. Coming to us from Scotland. His professional record, 18 wins, just 1 defeat. 7 of his wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome Kieran Chopper Smith.
Stone, 5 pounds, 12 ounces.
11 stone, 5 pounds, 12 ounces for Kieran Smith. And now we welcome to the scale the defending champion from Battersea, London, England. He has a professional record consisting of 17 wins, 2 defeats, 1 draw. 4 of his wins come by way of knockout. Let's welcome the reigning and defending British middleweight champion, Denzel Too Sharp Bentley. 11 stone, 5 pounds, 12 ounces for Denzel Bentley. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night live on BT Sport in a scheduled 12-round contest. It will be for the British Middleweight Championship.
Yes, Daddy.
So Denzel Bentley weighing in there for this fight with Kieran Smith. Second defence, I believe, of the British title. But obviously, last fight, Vegas, world title fight with Janibek. It didn't go well from, well, no, it didn't. The result didn't go from him tonight. But it was a performance that I think proved a lot to himself as well as a lot of people watching.
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was a fantastic performance. He was a heavy underdog going into the fight, and I think he proved. He'll be disappointed he didn't win the fight, but I think he will have proved a lot of people that he's at that level. He handled himself very well. Competitive fight. Came into the fight as it went on, and he started to improve as the fight went on, which proves that he's a a long, you know,
Ladies and gentlemen, our next two
lovely Thomas,
combatants
which
to
proves
the
that he's a
scale
fighter
tomorrow night
for big
in the
fights, and I think that
scheduled
he has all the talent in the
contest.
world.
And it is a international
Soon to win the British title outright, there'll be
heavyweight
another couple of
bout.
defences, and then
First to the scale, he comes to us from Kharkiv, Ukraine.
Let's go back to
He
Thomas.
brings a
Still talking,
professional record consisting of 9 wins, 12 defeats, 1 draw, 6 of his 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the scale, Konstantin Dangerous Dovbyshchenko.
17 stone, 3 pounds. Sorry? 17 stone, 3 pounds.
17 stone, 3 pounds. For Konstantin Dovbyshchenko. Next to the scale from Chatham, Kent, England. He had a stellar amateur career, now undefeated as a professional with 2 wins. Both of those wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome to the scale, Moses Talbot.
17 stone, 9 pounds.
17 stone, 9 pounds for Moses Talbot. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these two competing tomorrow night live on BT Sport in a 6-round international heavyweight contest. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we are going to weigh in our main event participants. They will be competing in a scheduled 12-round contest, and it will be for the WBO Interim Heavyweight Championship of the World. We will first welcome to the scale, he is the challenger. He comes to us from Shenzhou, China, and now making his home in Bloomfield, New Jersey. He brings a professional record consisting of 24 wins, just 1 defeat, 1 draw. 19 of his 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Zhilei Big Bang Zhang.
19 stone, 12 pounds.
19 stone, 12 pounds for Zhilei Zhang. Now we welcome to the scale the defending champion from Putney, London, England. He had a stellar amateur career, and now as a professional, undefeated with 15 wins. 14 of his 15 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the reigning and defending WBO Interim Heavyweight Champion of the World, Joe the Juggernaut Joyce.
Hang on, they're recalibrated.
Too low.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's go, baby. Show what it is. Let's go, Joe. Nice, Yomi.
18 stone, 4 pounds.
18 stone, 4 pounds for Joe Joyce.
Face the front first, okay. Face the front first, lad.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this our main event tomorrow night, live on BT Sport, scheduled for 12 rounds, and will be for the WBO Interim Heavyweight Championship of the World.
You know what it is, baby. Work, baby.
Real good, real good.
Get it, Joe. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
So 18 stone 4 pounds for Joe Joyce and 19 stone 12 pounds for Zhilei Zhang. Last fight, if they were the weights for the last fight, so there's only been 6 pounds between them. There is a big gap between the two there.
He looks absolutely magnificent, Joe Joyce.
That's the best shape I've seen, Joe, and I'm not quite sure. He's definitely later than his last few fights. Maybe the latest of his career, the 18 stone 4.
There's
I'm
real
not sure.
definition about him, Carl.
Yeah,
As well. When you look at the shape of the body, the abs, and everything.
Incredible
I mean,
shape. But Zhang coming in really heavy, a couple of pounds under 20 stone. I think that probably indicates that he knows it's going to be a long night. He's going to have to soak up a lot of punishment as well. So I think tactically it's probably a good thing.
In the we've got Zhilei Zhang here.
What I'm going to do is give Zhilei Zhang my microphone. I don't mind passing it on to the big fella.
Zhang, if you'd like to go around this side.
How are you?
So, man. If you just stand next to him. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Hello, how you doing, mate? Thanks, mate. Good.
This is Zhilei Zhang and his translator here. The UK public has really taken to you this week. You've been enormously popular amongst the media, the press. How excited are you about getting in there tomorrow night?
UK 的观众很喜欢你，媒体都很喜欢你。你觉得你现在心情怎么样？
心情很激动，因为这一天已经马上要到来了，还有一天，明天开始决战。
Very excited. One day away. All the hard work is done. Tomorrow is the final bell.
You've come in at 19 stone 12. Is that the heaviest of your career? And is that a tactic?
What's that in pounds?
So 19 stone 12 in pounds. I don't know what it is in pounds. You tell me.
这是19、10、12磅啊，我们不知道是磅是多少，但是你觉得是你生涯最重的体重吗
？Maybe， 也可能是我最重的体重126公斤。刚才我看了一下
Yeah, not sure about the stones, but it's 126 kilos. That's probably the heaviest.
And is that a tactical choice?
是有战术安排吗？
没有什么战术安排，然后有什么战术安排，只有到明天赛场上见。
Not really. I just go with my flow. You know, I see him in the ring.
And what do you think about Joe Joyce? Joe Joyce is coming in a little lighter than he normally does. 18 stone 4, so again, can't work it out in pounds. Not that good at maths, but Joe Joyce is coming quite light for this one. What do you think ahead of that?
但是他是18石头是个4啊，比你轻。
那116磅啊，应该116公斤。我觉得他可能有刻意去降重了吧，应该。
Around 116 kilos, but I think he's doing it on purpose. He's trying to cut down some weight on purpose.
Do you think that? How do you see the fight going? I look at both of you guys as really durable, fit, tough guys. Do you see there being a stoppage in this fight?
你俩是都能挨拳，你俩拳都重，你觉得这场比赛能打满吗？
我估计打不满，因为我不会去奔着12回合去打，因为我也想提前结束比赛。
I don't think it goes distance. I don't want to go distance. I want to finish the fight early.
Do you enjoy having the reputation of being the exciting fighter, the big puncher?
大家对你的公认是权重啊，你觉得你享受大家对你的这个美誉吗？
享受，然后谢谢大家对我的支持。
I really enjoy it. Thanks everybody for the support.
Thank you very much, and best of luck tomorrow night.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. Some immediate math required there. Our pounds to stones conversions.
I still can't do it. I've just went away from kilos recently, so you try to start converting it to pounds.
The real big bang, Darren Fletcher.
Well, listen, I'm not going to say.
You got offside very quick.
When he needs a microphone, I'm going to give it to him. And when Joe comes over, I'm going to do the same. Of course.
He was saying he thinks that Joe's made the deliberate choice to come in light. But what did you make of that?
Do you know what? I've just been stood over there while you were talking to Zhilei Zhang. The general consensus of everybody here today is that they've not seen Joe Joyce look that good. And some people were saying, right back to the amateurs. Never as a pro, but right back to the amateurs. You can see just how serious he's taking this fight. You can see just how hard he's worked to be in as good a shape as he can be. And I wouldn't describe it as shock, but they were certainly surprised. And you can ask him, because he's going to take my microphone again. I'm going to be passed over for the bigger man again.
This side,
Joe,
this
come and
side,
take
Joe.
this microphone, because I'm not going to say
I
no
mean,
to
to be honest,
you, am I?
whatever side you want. Yeah.
There you go, big fella. Cheers.
Joe,
Looking good on the scales, big man.
looking good. Everyone's praising you. Everyone's praising the abs.
Yeah, they've come back. They've sprung up out of the fat.
What was that, a tactical reason to come in so a little bit later than you have? Is that maybe your latest you've ever weighed in as a pro?
It could possibly, or maybe that would be like, yeah, that sounds really light. Yeah, probably maybe like the early fights, but I've been like disciplined with my diet and doing great training. Had an early camp, had a pre-camp before Christmas. So yeah, it's not that I'm really worried about my weight, but in fact I probably needed to eat more. But like, I don't know, this is how I'm feeling comfortable, and we'll see on fight night.
So that doesn't suggest there's going to be more movement in the fight. We shouldn't look too much into that.
Well, it'd be easier to move around without the added weight. So yeah, potentially. Yeah.
You're getting a juggernaut in ballet shoes. Huh? You're getting smooth moves from the juggernaut.
Yeah, smooth.
It's easier to do the Capoeira at the end, isn't it, when you're a bit later?
Oh yeah, I'll be flying over the ropes.
Maybe get a backflip.
Wow. I don't practice that. I don't practice face planting.
You came into the Parker fight heavy, didn't you? 271 pounds you were for that one. Did you feel during that fight that you were too heavy? Was it something that you felt during the fight that's made you want to shift a few of the pounds?
Well, I've always been like in the camp, like kind of worrying about my weight, like getting it a bit down, but like I was comfortable at that weight. But I don't know, just this, I don't know what's happened. It just seems to have fallen off me, and I've been disciplined, and I haven't been eating so many snacks. And and obviously the training's paid off, and early camps and stuff. I've been really disciplined. This is at the business end of my career, so I need to get things right.
If you look around the heavyweight division, Joe, there's obviously the Usyk fight and Fury fight, and not to look away from this fight, it's a tough fight for you. We're backing you to win the fight, but
thank you.
Where do you see the shot coming from a world title? You know, we want you. I'm sure you want to fight for a world title very soon, but where does the shot come from? We've got Usyk and Fury maybe trying to fight. You've got Dubois, who somehow is in front of you in the lane to fight Usyk, which makes no sense to me. But where does the shot come from?
You told me. I'm just going to beat Zhang and keep on beating up people till there's no one left to beat up, and then I have the titles. But like, I'm sure. Well, Fury said he'll fight me, so if he's a man of his word, then he'll hopefully fight me. But I'm not looking past Zhang. I've got him first, and Usyk as well for the WBO. I've got the interim title, so that is the next step. And if he doesn't fight me, then I get elevated to full title holder.
What's your perfect? Say, nap out your next 3 fights. Your perfect scenario.
Well, I'd have all the top names in any order, really, but like, especially starting with the title holders.
If there's a fight that can be made, ideally next, we take Fury and Usyk out of the equation.
Yeah.
Who would your next fight be after this?
Well, I've heard Joshua wants to scrap, so that'd be an interesting one.
Still a mega fight.
Wilder as well. People are saying about my chin. That'd be a good one to do in Vegas. Like chin versus power and all that kind of stuff.
We'll test the book density out now.
You can see the posters of that one.
I don't want to say too much because I've got a big fight on my hand. And
absolutely.
Can you verify for Carl the bone density thing, by the way?
I love this.
He's
I love
obsessed
this.
with the bone density
Yeah,
stat. Is that true?
it's like 5. It's
5.
It's around
I said
5,
3.
yeah.
It's 5. Flipping
But
hell.
yeah, but a lot of the rugby players there were 3, but I was like the highest that they tested. That was,
Unbelievable.
it was like just solid white. Then it came like it's got the little photocopier thing. Like,
Does it give you confidence that? Because I mean, it sounds like
makes sense.
We've seen shots bounce off your head. I haven't seen you hurt with a shot to the head yet. Like, can you actually be knocked out, Joe?
I don't want to risk it. And we touch wood.
Here, have a wooden pen.
All right, there we go.
Do you worry that we were talking about the big names? Do you worry that they're actually scared of fighting you? It's such a high risk fight. Do you worry that they're just going to keep running away?
Well, they can't run away forever, can they?
You never know in
I'd
boxing,
imagine.
right?
But
Yeah. But how much?
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful I'll get there and get my shot at the end. But I'm W at interim. I don't know how close I can get, and soon to be elevated. But this is a big risky fight.
Absolutely. And you deserve credit for taking this fight, because you could have sat and fought a lesser opponent and waited in the sidelines for the big shot. But we've talked about it beforehand. You absolutely deserve a shot at one of the top guys in the division.
Took on Parker.
Absolutely.
Took on taken on Zhang. So we also have to take on before I get the full. All the titles and the bells and the whistles and stuff. I just have to keep plodding away and juggernauting on.
Keep juggernauting, I like that. Yeah.
You've got such a relaxed demeanour. I think a lot of people in your position would get so frustrated, but you always take the hard fights, and you seem to love it, and you seem to love being out there and going to do what you do.
Yeah, that's it. I love it. Yeah.
And you're getting the rewards with the main event, big fight. We were talking to Fletcher about it. It's got mentioned every 3 seconds on the Champions League games this week and all the Premier League games. It really feels like you're the star now, and you've maybe had a little bit of time in the shadows of the big sort of 3 or 4 names who've held onto the belts for the years. But are you starting to feel like you're becoming the star of these shows?
Yeah, it's good. It's getting a lot more support, and it's like come from strength to strength, and I just need to keep delivering for the fans and make my journey continue, and then I'm almost there, so I'm just going to keep on putting like big fights, and I'll get there. I've got faith.
We know you're a busy man, Joe, and I imagine you've got a string of people lining up to do an interview with you. Give us a prediction for the fight. How do you see it going?
I'm going to say the second half of the fight, but you never know but I think. Yeah, I don't know. It could go the distance, because he took Herg the distance, but I don't believe so with my work rate and stuff. I think I'll get him out there. I said 8, so maybe that would be great.
I said 9.
All right.
I'll say 10.
Maybe that'll be 5.
I'll say 10 just to spice it up. Joe, we'll let you get to all the various media around it that want to talk to you. You deserve it. You deserve a big shot soon. And thanks for your time.
All the best, Joe. Cheers, big man. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll take
There you
that.
go.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, too much, Frampton. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with
back
the
to Thomas
weigh-in
Schreiber by the sounds of it.
That is
with
wild.
2 combatants competing tomorrow in a scheduled welterweight contest. First, we will welcome to the scale. He comes to us from Sofia, Bulgaria. He has 15 professional bouts to his credit. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Georgi Babyface Velichkov. $10 stone, 2 pounds for Georgi Velichkov. Now to the scale, his opponent tomorrow night from Northampton. Undefeated with 10 victories. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Ethan Jamie James. 10 stone, 6 pounds for Ethan James. This our first live fight tomorrow night on BT Sport, scheduled for 6 rounds, and it is an international welterweight bout. Our next 2 combatants to the scale competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 4-round cruiserweight contest. First to the scale from Manchester. He has 111 professional bouts. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Daryl Shaw.
13 stone, 2 pounds. 13 stone, 2 pounds.
13 stone, 2 pounds for Daryl Sharp. Now to the scale from London. Undefeated with 1 win. That 1 win comes by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, also by way of Ghana, here is Freezy McBones.
12 stone, 12 pounds. 12 stone, 12 pounds.
12 stone, 12 pounds for Freezy McBones.
That's what I have right now, Freezy McBones. Face forward first,
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, these 2 competing tomorrow night in a scheduled 4-round cruiserweight contest.
Face front, all done, boy.
Our next fighter to the scale, his opponent will be weighing in at a later time. Also, the official weight for this fighter will be at a later time, but we are going to welcome him to the scale area. He is competing against Richard Helm from Manchester tomorrow in a scheduled 6-round international super lightweight contest. Let's welcome to the scale from Upminster, undefeated with 5 victories, Sonny Liston Ali.
God, son! Go on, Sonny! Stay opposed to the ferries. Go on, son!
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Sonny Liston Ali. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude today's weigh-in. We thank you for joining us. Again, this great event tomorrow night. being held at Copperbox Arena in London, all brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry, along with their great sponsors, 32 Red, Food Asylum, and Unibet. Live on BT Sport beginning at 7 p.m. Also in the United States on ESPN+.
The highlights, I think, of the way-in.
Tickets can be purchased.
We've worked it out now. We've done the maths. £256.
Right.
And Zhilei Zhang, £278. So he was 277 against Filip Hrgovic. So he's a similar weight. And Joe Joyce, much, much lighter. So 271 against Parker, 256 now. But myself and Carl just spoke to him, and he was in very good spirits, wasn't he?
Yeah, both of them sounded confident. Zhang looked and sounded confident. Obviously, didn't have a lot to say. It was through a translator as well. But I felt like he was confident. I got an aura of confidence from him, as I did with Joe Joyce. And I'm buzzing for this.
Let me ask you a question then, based on Joe coming in as light as he is, in the shape that he is, with a banger like Zhang. Any concerns? Because we know about the punch resistance and the strength, but that's a bigger Joe Joyce.
Yeah, he looked in incredible shape. But I asked the question: Is that pointing towards a tactical maneuver? You coming in so late, are you going to move a little bit more? He didn't really answer it. He just says, "Yeah, it's going to be easier to move if I'm a little bit less light, or a little bit later." I don't know. We can go back to the bone dance today. I said it was 3 times, but it's actually 5 times. Joe clarified it, so
that's at least another story on the building then.
He's unknockoutable, I think.
Yeah,
that's a big statement.
Chapman behind, join us here. Let's go round.
Have I got to pass the microphone again? Yeah. Raven, you're the third person I've had to give the microphone to.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I'm going to give. I've been substituted 3 times. So
because he didn't wear a tie.
I appreciate it.
Raven, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Looking forward to this one? Heavyweights is always
really
exciting.
Looking forward to it. Obviously, we all know what Joyce brings and what he's about, and obviously Zhang, he's a banger as well. They both won their silver medals in the Olympics, so it's going to be a really good one. It's just who goes down first, I think.
And talking about your own career, your progression it's really gathering pace, isn't it? And the big opportunities seem to be opening up ahead of you. Obviously, fight week this week, you've had Michaela Mayer here, who's had enormous fights and enormous evenings of her own. How inspiring has it been the last couple of times, because we had Amanda Serrano here recently as well.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Your Nando's partner, I believe.
Have you tried it yet?
I've had Amanda's. I used to have a black card, right?
Really?
And that was the only reason. And I never get it back. That's why I don't like it.
But
But I mean, you go to Nando's when it's free.
Yeah, that's true.
It's very overpriced.
That's true. It's good for what it is, isn't
Chicken
it?
and chips
After you've been starving yourself to make the weight and stuff afterwards, it's nice, easy, quick, perfect.
Other Portuguese chicken foods are available.
I'm vegetarian as well. I don't even eat the chicken.
Other Portuguese vegetarian chicken places are available. But yeah, being able to spend some time around Michaela Mayer and Serrano, how inspiring has that been for you?
Yeah, it's brilliant for me. Obviously, they've got that experience, that wealth of knowledge as well. So being able to be around them, speak to them, pick their brains a little bit, and understand what they've been through as well, and see how I can sort of emulate some of the things they've done in their career, but also make it my own. You know.
What's the plan ahead for you? Obviously, you spoke to me in Bunty after your last fight.
Yeah.
We all thought it was a very good performance, but what's the next move for you?
We'll see what happens. Obviously, I'd like to keep that progression going, get those tougher opponents, because if I want to fight Amanda for her belts, I need to get that experience under my belt and get tough opponents, tough nights. So something like that, maybe another belt, there's European titles, things like that, and just progress in that way and make my way towards getting that opportunity.
And you love being around all this. I see it every single one of these Queensberry events. Yeah. Every presser way, and I see it all of them. You're just loving this ride, aren't you?
Yeah, I love it. I love being involved in boxing. I love being around in boxing. I love doing this kind of thing with you guys. All of it. I live, I breathe it. It's fun for me. So this, as much as people see it as work, it's fun as well.
I think it's sensible though too. The more people get to know you, the more they'll appreciate you when you fight, and the fan base will build and build.
Yeah,
and
you see
I think
my
it's a sensible
face
move.
around, and that's part of it as well. Getting my profile out there and stuff, and just building myself as the fighter that I am, but getting to know me personally as well.
All right then. Last thing, prediction for tomorrow night.
Late Joyce knockout. I think round 10.
Late Joyce knockout. All right, Fletcher's itching to get that microphone back. Please, we spoke.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Raven. A quick word there for Raven, who's we've seen her career over the last couple of years. It's absolutely blossoming and looks like a bright future for her.
Absolutely, such an exciting journey potentially as well. Yeah, fantastic. Hopefully, the sky's the limit. I mean, it's all of the potential is there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's just a matter of following through now.
I think she looked the part in her last fight. Now, what was interesting was she came over to speaking to me and Bunsey afterwards, and just looking a bit of advice and how we thought it went. And I think that's a sign of an intelligent fighter, someone who's always looking to learn. I really like her. I think she's a good fighter, and at some point soon, I think she's had maybe 6-7 fights, something like that. Not a lot. I don't think you need a lot to be fighting for world titles, but at some point before 10 fights, I imagine she'll be wanting to challenge for a world title.
Do you know what was great as well, Carl? That we worked the fight card together, and when I got back the next morning, my wife and daughter had only watched one fight. They'd watched Raven fight. They weren't bothered about anything else. They were so excited and thoroughly enjoyed the fight, and that can only be good.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant thing, and all they were talking about the next morning was Raven's performance that night, not the top of the bill or anything else. They were talking about that.
Oh, Fletch, I don't know if you noticed, but there's someone else threatening
there is.
your mic now.
I tell you what, listen,
all right, big man.
the guys are getting bigger. I've had this microphone taken off me by 3 heavyweights now. I'm slipping down the rankings, David, all the time. There you go, I'm all right. How are you?
Do I stand in the middle? Do I stand in the corner?
Yeah, go for it. Then you can make us both look short at the same time. It's great. How are you feeling? Seeing all this, I know you've had your own sort of trying to make a bit of noise in the heavyweight division, trying to sort some fights out for yourself. Of course, you've got to do it. Seeing big fights like this getting made, seeing a bit of noise around this. As a heavyweight, do you get excited for these nights?
Definitely. I was just saying over there. This is a fight that everyone's tuning in for, and the weigh-in was mellow. You know, both fighters were calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
I'm not really like that. I'm more of a talker. I like to just. I mean, Carl would know. Carl's been in the game way before I was. You got to do something in boxing to make yourself stand out to the others.
Yeah.
Of course, we're professional athletes, so we never do things that's going to be personal, but we do things that's going to wind up our opponents and to get our name going. There's other fighters that are scared of people like me. I don't blame them. You know, I like to stop my authority, and when I walk in the building, everyone gets nervous. But you know, I mean, I look at these sort of fights and I like to make my turn, because I was just saying to one of the fighters there, when I was 4-0. Sorry, when I was fighting on 4-rounders and 6-rounders, I was looking at the big stage, looking at the big pictures, and you kind of forget to enjoy the moment you're in now.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be here for a while, so you know, you got to enjoy where you are, and then as things go on, you enjoy the stage you're going to be
It's
at.
getting closer for you, though,
Definitely.
sharing these big moments with big name fighters and fighting for huge titles, and we fully believe you'll get there at one point.
Definitely.
When do you think that's going to come? How soon is it going to be before you're challenging some of the big names?
Man, how long can they run for? You see, like I say, the fighters that I grew up on, the Roy Jones, Ernie Shavers, Sonny Liston, Ali, Lennox Lewis, these guys had dents in their records. None of them finish undefeated. I think everyone looks at fighters now and they think, you know, the Mayweather effect, they want to finish undefeated, and that's not it. You know, you have to enjoy the ride, and realistically, as fighting men, when I'm feeling like I'm the best and you're feeling you're the best, there's only one way to prove it. One person's going to come up short. It's not the end of the road. We go again. Yeah,
obviously, I know you're kind of be thinking about the fact that the British title fight got ordered yesterday and the day before, and your name wasn't there. It's irritating for you, I'm sure, because you've been trying to put your name in there and make some noise on social media and at different press conferences and stuff like that. But does it kind of motivate you to crack on, push on, and make more noise?
110%. You know, I can't knock them. I mean, they've been in the game way longer than I have. The aim for me is just to go back to the gym and chip away. It's not the end of the road. There's so many different routes I can go down. The decision's above me, so it doesn't really affect nothing I can do.
David, when you saw Joe there on the scales and he stripped down and he looks in that kind of shape, what did you think? Because we were like, wow, look at the shape.
He looks a bit like me.
Fantastic, yeah. He looks great, Nick, doesn't he?
And I was saying it, you know, when you actually look at Joe Joyce doesn't have a big torso. His arms ain't big, his shoulders ain't really big, but he's a natural heavyweight. He's dense. You know, he walks on as a heavyweight.
5 times the bone density of the average man.
I heard.
Yeah.
And yeah. You know, when it's clear to see you and he just eats them shots. But it's good. You see Joe Joyce, he weighs lighter than his opponent. I was just saying it as well. Interesting to see how Joyce is going to perform when he weighs lighter than his opponent, because we're all used to seeing Joe Joyce walk his opponents down. What's he going to do when he's not walking somebody down? We know he can box. We saw it against Dubois. You're just interested to see which one's going to come in tomorrow.
Yeah. Prediction, Dave?
Tomorrow night. I won't be surprised if it goes the distance, but I can see Joyce winning 111, 112. You know, Zhang against Hrgovic kind of faded.
Yeah.
But of course, fights, stylistically, that can kind of set the tone for how fights end and whatnot. Zhang could have just been fading away because they fought at a higher pace in the earlier rounds. But, you know, I heard some things about Zhang. Of course, I know Joe Joyce, I've sparred Joe Joyce. I heard some things about Zhang. Zhang's a good fighter as well. They both bang. They was talking to Zhang over there. They said, what do you think is going to happen? He was looking at his hand as if it was really just shining. He said, I got the iron fist. And he goes, I want to know what's going to happen when it hits him. So I think Zhang believes in himself. Zhang's going to be landing his shots early. But I think Joyce will pull it off.
All right, so you're 11. You're 9?
About 9 or 10, yeah.
Fletch, prediction?
I think he's going to go the whole way. I think you might see Joe fight a different way. I think David's point that he's just made is fascinating. What does Joe Joyce do when he's not the significantly bigger man in there? And I think maybe he's looking down the line at what he might need to do against other heavyweights to achieve the dream. So I think he's going to be fascinating to see. I think it'll go the whole way. I think 12 rounds. I think there might be one or two rocky moments. Well, I think the big fella's going to land a couple of shots.
Definitely.
I think they're going to bounce off that jaw that's getting thicker every time we talk about it. I think he'll win on points. I think he'll just. I find it fascinating that you see a fella that big that's got that hand speed and can move like that.
Yeah.
It's freaky, isn't it? And it gives other heavyweights such a problem. And I think Zhang, as David said, that tank might start to empty, and then he's got a problem.
Yeah.
All right. Well, by the sounds of it, there's a guarantee of excitement. It all starts 7 p.m. on BT Sport tomorrow. Coming live from the Copperbox, it's Joe Joyce versus Zhilei Zhang. The Big Bang, they call him. We'll see. We'll see you next time.
No one wants to fight Joe Joyce.
He has all of the tools. He can be a nightmare for anyone.
On top level, ready for the world stage.
Joe Joyce is very, very much in the mix.
Joe Joyce is a man who'll give any heavyweight in the world a problem.
I think the sky's the limit for him, and he's ready for the big boys now.
European, Commonwealth, British champion. This is his chance to take that world title shot.
The fight's all over it. A spectacular win. I don't think we should overlook just how smart Joe Joyce boxed tonight.
Joe Joyce by knockout.
The juggernaut's here and he's here to stay.
I play this game. They got like a thing called the juggernaut, and you have to kill it with 1 million bullets before he dies. And that's essentially what Joe Joyce is.
I'm the juggernaut. I'm the only one who calls your name out. Everybody else is scared of you.
Well, bring it on.
Let's me and you, my brother, do Wembley. Come on, Joe Joyce.
It's nice for him to step up now on the big stage with all eyes on him and him perform.
I'm in the right place. It's exciting. It's fun.
He deserves, more than everybody, a world title shot.